back at the Valley Showcase. With me now is Andy Stadler with Stadler Tax and Accounting here in Terre Haute. Andy, it is almost time. The clock is ticking.
That's correct. You have just over 2 weeks, about 2.5 weeks till that April 15th day.
So your tax returns got to be done. Today, I want you to take us through what are some of those common errors that people make. I know you've got kind of a top 10 list when preparing a tax return.
This is actually a top 10 list that Internal Revenue Service has put together. So these are the things that they see nationwide. And there's really no particular order, but just the top 10. One is Social Security numbers. People make an error either typing it in on their software or just writing it down and not putting in the correct Social Security number. Make sure you do that.
Problem.
Exactly. Spelling of the last name. If they're handwriting it, make sure you handwrite it very clearly so the IRS personnel can read what it is you're writing on there.
Sure.
Filing status. That's really kind of a new, it's a tricky one. The IRS looks at whatever your marital status is on December the 31st of 2009. If you're married that day, then you do a married filing joint or married filing separate. If you're single that day or divorced that day, then you do single or head of household if you have a child. But that day...
That's an important date.
That's a very important date, and your status on that day is very important. Okay. Math errors. If you're just doing it by hand, about 60% of the tax returns that are mailed in using the old-fashioned pen and paper way, about 60% of those have math errors.
60%?
60%.
Oh my goodness.
So be sure.
What happens to those, Andy, when somebody makes a math error? Does the IRS call you up and say, hey, you know, we found an error here?
No, they don't call you up. They'll try to correct it if they can. If they won't, they'll just simply subtract it, take it out, and your refund will be less or you'll owe more.
Yeah.
And so you want to make sure you go through the math error.
Could be a costly error there.
It could be very costly. Credits. There is over 200 tax credits out there. There's a lot of them. A lot of people just are not aware of what they're eligible for. So go through some of the common ones are earned income tax credit, the child tax credit, the residential energy credit. The new one this year is the working tax credit. Another one that's around this year is a property tax credit. If you pay property tax, you automatically get a special credit for that on your federal and your state of Indiana tax return.
Now, can you go to the IRS website and they give you a list of these 200 tax credits to sort through? Or
yeah, it is. But
sounds complicated.
It is, and it's going to be a very long reading. So. And some of the other things, make sure you got your correct bank information on your tax return. Make sure you got the correct routing number and account number for a direct deposit to go in. Okay. And then don't forget to sign the return. That's important there, okay?
Yeah, you do all this work and then you forget to put the signature on there. I'm sure it just doesn't, it's all for naught, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the IRS will send them back or it'll delay your refund by several weeks.
Wow. Wow. So a big list of things to be concerned about.
Yes.
Which gives me cause to think that a lot of folks should go to someone like yourself to go through this to make sure their information's correctly done.
I would highly recommend getting a licensed tax professional to do your tax work. Make sure you see a license on the wall. Make sure they've been through schooling and things to do this. But also, if you're going to do it yourself and use a TurboTax or one of those, really be careful with that. I just had a client just try to do this. A friend helped him out, and he came back owing $1,300. Well, he came to me to have me review it. He actually ended up with over a $500 refund.
So there's some errors there or some misunderstanding there of what needed to be done. Okay. Now, I know each year you always hear these reports about these unclaimed taxes. Is that because people have just made errors?
Well, it's not so much the errors as in people just, for whatever reason, never filed their tax return. Right now, there's over $1.3 billion, and folks, for the year of 2006 tax return, if you've not filed that for whatever reason, there's $1.3 billion waiting to be claimed.
It's a big number, big number. Well, Andy, thanks for being on with us. There's the contact information for Stadler Tax. If you'd like to sit down with Andy and his staff, they'll be happy to help you work through your tax preparation needs as that time comes very near for getting those tax returns done. We're going to go back over and check in with Chef Jeff here from Cobble.